Hi guys, Master Richard here from All Rise Martial Arts. Today I'm joined by my partner Mika, who's going to help me demonstrate a couple wrist grab escape techniques. Now, this is a great situation to address the use of force continuum in self-defense. There may be scenarios where you're required to use force or use violence to get yourself to safety, and there may be situations where you can actually resolve it in a more peaceful manner. So to demonstrate that, our first situation would be, somebody controlling me, somebody holding my wrist. I don't necessarily have to strike or attack here immediately. I could use my voice and say, hey, let go. If they're still holding on, I can escalate that and maybe yell a little bit louder, hands off, right? And then they can take a step back. So that would be a situation, an example of a lower use of force. I would just use my great tool, which is my voice. If that's not working or if I feel more immediately threatened, then we can go to our physical techniques, which we'll take a look at right now. So for our first technique, we're going to take a look at a situation where somebody is grabbing our wrist on the same side of our body. So this would be if I'm grabbing Mika with my left hand grabbing her right wrist or my right hand grabbing her left wrist. The hold is on the same side of the body. For this situation, the first thing you want to do is make sure that you have a solid base. So, take a stance, you can bend your knees here, make sure that you're not able to be pulled off balance easily here. You want to be in a good stance. Secondly, the hand that's trapped, Mika's going to rotate her wrist so the flat edge of her wrist is able to blade out of this gap in my fingers where my hand comes together here. That's going to be her easiest means of escape. After she rotates her wrist, she's going to use her free hand to press or strike my controlling arm as she pulls her trapped hand free towards her armpit, and then she's going to take her stance with her hands up, preventative stance, and she can look to address me here and say hands off, or she can look to escape the situation. So one more time, same side grip, again, nice stance. She's going to rotate that wrist and then strike and pull her hand out and then take a stance. So for our levels of force here, again, first level, lowest level, if this is not a threatening situation, Mika can use her free hand just basically to press my hand. And again, she can say hands off, whatever, and then take her stance, don't let me grab you again. If this is getting more dangerous, more immediate, then she can make this free hand more of a strike towards my hand, ow, and then take her stance. And if this is a very high level, very threatening, maybe I'm trying to pull her somewhere or she feels, really threatened, then she can strike first, either punch, maybe kick, and then do her escape, boom, and then definitely take a stance because this could be a more violent situation. So that's our first wrist escape. That's on the same side of the body. For our second technique, we're going to take a look at a situation where the grip is going across the body. So this would be if I'm using my right hand to control Mika's right wrist or my left hand to control Mika's left wrist. This situation, the gap in the fingers is on the outside, the opposite side from the first scenario, so we can't use the same technique. Now again, once you feel this grip, take stock of your stance, make sure you have a good base so you can't just get pulled off balance. And then Mika is going to use her free hand in a big hooking shape, a big sloth hook, to hook over my arm or underneath my arm, the one that's grabbing her. And she's going to pull on this arm as she punches her trapped hand free, and then she's going to come into, again, that defensive hands up posture. The way this works is as the trapped hand slides forward, the grip automatically opens up as the forearm gets larger towards the elbow. So she has that punch and she has that hooking pull. So one more time, across the body, good stance. She can hook and punch, boom, and then come into her defensive posture. Now, again, we can do the same soft technique for this one of, a softer pull and a softer punch. But to escalate this one, we can actually add a strike before we do the technique and when we do the technique. So let's say that this is, a really dangerous scenario. If I'm really trying to control Mika or threaten her or pull her, she can add a strike before, boom. And then as she does her technique, this hand can become a strike, maybe a punch to the groin, and then she can come into, again, her defensive posture, her hands up. So that's a great one that you can escalate and even get an extra strike on it. That's our second technique, which is a grab across the body. These are just a couple of my favorite wrist escape techniques, but these are certainly not the only ones out there. There's a ton of them out there. Some are more fancy than others, some are more effective than others, but these are the ones that I teach for kids and adults at the beginner level. Now, it's important to remember in all self-defense training that if we can be aware and prevent the situation, we should. We demonstrated this situation from a face-to-face position today, and if you have good awareness, you should be able to prevent somebody from grabbing your wrist from this angle in the first place. You know, if I'm approaching Mika and trying to grab her, she can just move out of the way or move her hand out of the way before I can even initiate a grip. A more realistic example would be maybe she's facing to the side or maybe facing behind, so she's not expecting this. If somebody grabs my wrist from behind, the same techniques work. I'm going to turn, take my stance and face the person, and now I can do my escape and take my stance. So that's a more realistic way you can drill these at home. If you're practicing, would be from the side or from the back. Now, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to check us out at allrisema.com and make sure to hit like and subscribe below. I'm Master Richard, this is Miss Mika, and have a great day.